Hi class, I wanted to give you your feedback. I really like how far you've come along. It's looking really great, and I just want to give some basic overall. You will continue to get feedback throughout the month. You will give each other feedback. You'll review each other's sites. You'll review your own in the end to see where how far you've come. So Flavia, you came in with a strong site, and you also have your second one. So you have the concepts down. You understand how important it is to keep things simple and clear, and you always do that. You strive for excellence, and it shows. You do want to make sure that, and this is pretty much for everybody, you want to make sure that you are really limiting your fonts. It isn't as obvious here as it may be on the mobile site when you have these, and we'll look at that. There's a little bit of scrolling for, this is good, it's condensed. There's a little bit of scrolling for just this content, but it is interesting, it does make sense. You do want to make sure you use a grammar check for your English. Okay, let's see. One of these is a little more in need of correcting, and I don't remember now which one it was. So use a grammar check on each one. Let's see. Yeah. Might want to bring this up a little bit. We've got a lot of space being taken up before we actually get to the content, right? So that's something to think about there. The content is good. For this, instead of having click here in the site, how about making this, want to see it, a link to the site? So just make this a hyperlink and remove this in both cases. And this does look great with your mock-up. Keep in mind, eventually, if you want to, you can have a page of websites and you can embed your website into a Wix site. And they look really good. It's just going to be, a simple background with your whole screen practically in it. You could even make a background that is a mock-up of a laptop and just have the website fit inside that in a window, right? So this would be your background. That's just a concept. So good job. Again, make sure all your content goes through grammar check. I didn't read through these specifically. I'm looking at the design and layout. There's a lot of text here, and making it, more scrolling. I know that that's the work. Maybe instead of having 3 of these, you could consolidate it and just choose, one image and have, product, photos, catalog, and packing, and then have this as an option, align it probably, and then you can consolidate these and then have just the catalog for them to look at. So maybe this would be the thumbnail or the image, but these they would see if they looked at it, because these are not as design worthy as a whole compared to what you're able to do. So I know you're showing it, but I think one example of it and then the option to see all of it would be good there. This does look great. It shows that you did the website too, which is, the other option. This is the thumbnail, and you have the list of skills that you created, the website, and then the, print products and so forth listed here with the with the downloadable here and put this here, taking these out and maybe putting the other assets here. So, this could be the only thing that you're showing, and that would be enough. And then you can have, or if you want to, show product photos, but I wouldn't go more than these two, okay? And then the option to download. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you could do this if you like. If you consolidate the others, I think, but this is looking great. And I think that's the kind of thing you want showing on your site. So the brand identity, I think you could say here, website and brand identity. And that would mean, or website, you can list that you created the logo, very short, and again, make the want to see the link to the site and take this off. And then, okay. And then you could say Wix and you could say, logo or something like that to consolidate these two, because this one again looks better. All right. So that's the main thing for me on this. Like I said, this could come up. Got a lot of scrolling. I do love that you provided 2 languages. That was a very good idea. This has a lot of scrolling for what it is. I know we like the air and so forth, but maybe we can squeeze out a little more space in some places, shave off a little bit. Okay. And this blue outline, I think maybe you could have a different outline for that. Maybe the black like you have here, or in this case, you have the seafoam. Okay, so when we go to this, this is where the differences in the fonts show up a little bit, the way that they're being used. This probably would look better down here instead of in the middle, your socials. This probably could come up a little bit, right? Perfect, professional photo. That's always great. This is where we have separation of fonts, where we could streamline. Okay, and condense some of this white space. This works. And we talked about these, but you can see your logo either needs to be here or bring this all the way up. And I'm looking for the navigation. Okay, so you'll consolidate these into what we discussed, and that will work for you. You could probably close this up a little bit, or put your social there, center. There it goes. So it's taking time to load, as is this. I think it'd be nice if that were higher, but it's okay. Close that up a little. Social media. Yeah, okay. Close this up, bring this up a little. So, you've done a great job. You've done a great job for just a week or two. And I look forward to seeing where it is. I know it's going to have every detail that you can possibly do, because I know you will make sure that you put every effort into it. So terrific, terrific job. All right, Gracelyn, this is a great style. Great style. This is awesome. This is the perfect text for it. The pink is working. It's a red here, I think, and pink here, so that might find something in between. I love this style. I do think I love this font with it. I do think you want to see how that is not clearing. I do think you want to bring these to the top with these. That's okay because of the colors and so forth, and these work, but these are very different and they don't quite fit. This is at least floating by itself, and so it fits a little more with these because of the padding. But these are more interesting and well designed and work better with these. So I would bring those higher up and consider, if you need these two. I think this stands alone by itself and works with your other shapes. I think this works. Okay, we don't need everything. These work. This, it probably looks like student work to me because I see the students do this and because I know the student. But these two seem less like a brand than these do to me. That's fine. I like this, but I would, if you were to go back into it, I would probably say exploration equals growth. So we can cut this down. I know it's got all this space, but you could center or do whatever, change the font. It's just a little long to get the point across, but that's just a tip, and you don't have to go back into that. I would take your number off, let them contact you, and then you decide if you want to give them your number. This, I think I would bring closer to here. It's okay if you can't, but rather, group these together and with the same font. You may not quite be able to, but, and then put that somewhere else. But it's okay. I kind of want to see those the same font. Maybe this one and stacked, but it's okay, this font. You might want to, I think you're okay with this overlapping. It's not too bad here. It's not as good there or there or here. So you may consider freezing this background with a white background that will, it will cover up your images, but think about that and what you want to do. This is okay, but you may say content creator and artist, or designer and content creator, kind of rolls off smoothly. This is just really fun. And this looks great. This is working. We'll look at your mobile in a moment. And again, I think designer and content creator, or artist and content creator. I think you want to left align this and go through and make sure it's worded. Seems to me I saw something that could be. Yes, I have been creating creative pieces. So let's, you could say I've been creating original work for as long as I can remember, or original designs for as long as I can remember, rather than repeating creating creative pieces of work. Okay. All good. Okay, and so this is your, make sure you change the titles of some of your work. This is a conflict, okay, because that's where it's landing when I click on it on my particular browser. So check different browsers. This is covered up in this situation. There was something else. Just make sure that these are titled, and close this up, that space. Okay. All right, because of the aesthetic you have going on here, let's change this to something like this or this, rather than this serif italicized with the very narrow stroke. Okay, let's think along these lines as you look at this as a whole. Okay, so excellent. You've got two contacts here, so choose one and eliminate the other. If you brought this up, you wouldn't need to make that change, but you're going to need to weigh that out. Okay, just have one. All right, so let's take a quick look at your mobile, and this is where you want to make sure you have your logo centered. It's overlapping there, and choose which contact you're going to use. Okay, some social media icons would probably be beneficial for you, especially in Instagram, right? This looks good, but it cuts the image, and it's a great image, and it's the headband that matches this that actually pulls it together really well. So you probably want to reframe that. Okay. Reword that. Reword. Left align. Okay. And maybe instead of having this here, just have your social media down there. On this particular page, you don't need this anymore because you have this. So you could close some things up a little there to help you with that image. This is again pink, a different color. Make sure everything is centered. Okay. I think you can see the main things that need to be addressed. So great start. I'm looking forward to seeing these finished touches. All right. Here, let's talk about what kind of media you're involved in. So instead of explore my work or here, you say about, but we don't read anything about. So maybe this isn't where this goes. Maybe the about isn't there. Maybe it's this media content or so forth, and then explore my work, which needs to be a button that actually links because that's the invitation you're giving them. Here you have your about. Again, this contact doesn't seem to be linking. Make sure these go to your sites. Good, you have this updated. I'm going to overlook that background. I don't think it's yours, but that's for the time being. It's holding up. You do want to move towards everything being your work. I do like that you have this solid. You may need to freeze this header so that it stays when we're going through. This needs to be updated, removed. Remove your phone number. This doesn't need to be here. You can find someplace else for that. Make sure that all of your images are in focus. Okay, this one is a little better than the one before, but make sure your thumbnails are sharp. If you are selling work, your skills, it's mandatory. It's the minimum, okay? So choose the best thumbnails and provide, same thing here. We need to have clear images. This is too low res, very grainy. So you may need to show these at a smaller size. I do like the layout. Maybe you just reduce how many you have and find the best, sharpest thumbnails for that. Okay. And keep in mind, find a way to add your asset guide, what your role was. But this is good, it works well. If you have 10 Forever Media here, have media there if you can. Well, this actually lays out better, so let's skip that. I think this would work better if it's all caps, because this is, and I think it will hold up better. All right, so asset guides, and make sure you have some really sharp images. You know, that's okay. And take out all the placeholder images. All right. All right. Good start. Let's look at the mobile. Okay, just take this out. You can see that's no longer legible. Remove, remove. Tighten these up a little bit. I would take your number off. Make sure these are linked to yours. And carry your brand over. Okay. Just need sharper images. You know, these things need to be removed. Okay. You might get away with this at this size. Okay, and your links. Okay, make sure those work. All right, so a few tweaks, and go through your content and try and find just really sharp images. All right, good job. All right, Kaylee, happy to see all of this and all these faces, familiar faces. Really great. Concept is good. We're saying yes has taken me. Again, with a lot of people, you want to make sure that you are being really consistent with your fonts. Make sure we've got padding here, so we don't lose that. Okay. Possibly, if this is going to be white, possibly this would be, or vice versa, making that yellow. This could be a little clearer. It's a little hard to read. And I do think it's this, well, it's not the same font. It's the same font as, I don't think, it's the same font as your name on the front. So again, with you want to streamline your fonts and only use a couple. For your images, be selective. Have your images all be the same ratio on a row. So you might have this, and another, and this, and this, although we're going to dark, but that's okay. You don't need this one because you have this one. So let's eliminate and only have your best work. Okay. College life, you know, I could see Addie, I could see the vertical pizza, I could see this and this. This is kind of off-brand for what you're doing, but I could see those going together. Make sure you have the same amount of space. Like I say, you can have very few images. You don't need more than 3 or 4. Okay. This, and this might go together, right? Those 3, this with that would work. So you want to group them like that. This and this actually would go together. Nightlife. This one, you know, I sense it's a really interesting place. I'm not sure that it highlights your skills as much. I think this does. I think that is marketable. This would go with a, you know, horizontal piece. Okay, so it's just a matter of laying out. Choose a font that you're already using for this button. And I think the button can be a little smaller. Okay, good, good, good. And I liked your resume. Okay. Nice to see these faces. This did come up a little slow, which means the file's kind of big. Hard to read this. Okay. something, to think about there. I loved this, really strong. A little bit of padding above the letter here, that row. I loved this, Kayla. I rarely see parallax scrolling work on student sites for all kinds of reasons, but this is a very good use of it, so I like that. Good job there. This is a good page. Yeah, okay. Okay. I think maybe instead of splitting these like this, you just have another box, the same width that aligns, right? And maybe you can have a rule that separates two columns but have it all on one. This we'll talk about. You may have to have another solution for this. These are, I love the way it writes on, and that's really clever. The thing is, it doesn't tell us really, it tells us you're better at something than something else, but it doesn't tell us where you are with something. Like you could say expert over here and, beginner here, or something, maybe something shorter than that, maybe a visual icon that describes that in some way. But, really right now it just tells us that your camera talent is better than your photography in your opinion. Okay, but it doesn't tell us the level. Like Adobe has, certain, proficiency. You could say proficient. You could say, let's see, what would be other than beginner? You could say advanced, something like that. But we need to have a little bit of framework to let us know what that is. And you'll see when we look at the mobile that you'll want to redirect that. But it's landing in the right places, so that's really good. Your anchors are good. Just love this photo. This is working. Okay, you've kind of centered that. It's sort of left aligned, but it's aligned with that pretty much. So that's all good. And everything is going in the right place. I think you need a contact. You have it here on your right. So I guess you're okay with that. So let's take a look here. You can see that there's some overlapping here. So that's something you want to look at. This looks great. Great. We want to work at this. So go into your editor for your mobile and bring that out, at which point you may want to center this. Just depends. You may want both of these on one line. I mean, this on one line and this on one line. Okay, this is good. It may want to cut down a little bit, not if it's important, but you can see the reflow here. Fonts, we want to just choose two. So go through, choose two, and then, if you then want to make a change with your body copy, make all of it change. Like you can make it a style in Wix when you look at your fonts. And if you have a style, then you can just globally change all of it if you want to change it. But go and separate by having one for headers and one for body copy. Okay, so here you can see we don't have a distinction between those, and these are not lined up, so that's something to think about. You could simplify it in some ways. You could even say skills in order of expertise, and that would tell us, do it as simply as you can. I love this, and I love the color. that we get when we do that. This I kind of want to see, because we have some scrolling going on that may have to be fixed. Looking for the arrow to go back up. There it is. Let's see. It's not changing for me now. Again, that's hard to read. This font needs to be a little simpler and darker. And this all looks great. This color combo is really good for you. There, that color. I love that. So, go through and check those out. Super close, super close. And it won't take much to go into your mobile and correct some of the reflow in places. Okay. And you've got 3 fonts here, so think about that. Plus, this is kind of a font, so think about it. Great job. I'm thrilled to see where you're going. You have so much experience, and I know it's hard to put it all on one site, and you've done a really good job of doing that. You're going to edit down a lot of these. You just don't need that many. Love some of these, though. Love these. Those are nice and sharp. You can really feel like you're there. Good work. So we don't have asset guides to these. So something very simple. Okay. I wonder if your Campfire Quest is something by itself. If your podcasting is a site by itself, and eventually you duplicate this one day after you make your corrections. And I don't want to imply that it's not going to take some time. I don't mean to say that, but then consider duplicating it again and removing portfolio and just having, Campfire Quest, podcasting or education and experience, but streamline it for your podcasting. You can have your other site for all your other media, but I think it could be its own actually too. So that's a great job. I'm glad to see you were able to pull together your skills, because you have a lot, and I know it's hard to present all of those at once. So everybody, you've done a great job. I hope that you have time to go through and make all those, adjustments that you need. And I hope and think that you're really going to like it by the end of the month. All right? Good job, everybody.